Hey YouTube, today we're going to be looking at a bolt action Savage rifle, and what I have here in front of us is a Savage model 23AA. This is a sporter rifle from the 1930s. It's a bolt action 22 long rifle and I've showed this rifle before. I've had it a long time, and I've always wanted to put a decent scope on it that I could see through. When I got this rifle, it had a little small antique Weaver scope on it. It was a 3/4 of an inch tube, and the glass was just really bad. And so I looked around, and really the way the scope mounts, there's not really a lot of options out there. So I looked around to see the best little 3/4 inch scope that I could find, and I mean, there's just nothing really available. Everything, all this modern stuff is a 1-inch scope. So while I was been confined to my house here for the past month and a half, going through some illness and stuff, I did a lot of research and I did a lot of stuff I could just sit here and do at my house. And I have figured out how to mount a 1-inch scope to this antique rifle. So before we go any further, I'm going to show you that this thing does not have anything in it, and we are clear to make this video. So what we have here, this is just an antique from the 1930s. It's a Savage 22 rifle. It's got a real heavy barrel on it. I've showed it on here before. I've had it a long time, and I'm a big fan of the traditional wooden stock bolt action rifles, and I've always wanted just a 22 bolt action rifle with a decent scope on it that I could just go have fun at the range with, a little sling on it and everything like that. So the problem with this one was it had an old antique 3/4 inch scope on it. So here's what I figured out, folks. I found this mount here, and this is a Weaver mount, and it mounts right to the side of this receiver here, and it has 1-inch rings on it. So what I now have on here is just a Nikon 3-9 1-inch scope on it. So this has got really decent glass on it, and you can actually see through it, unlike the old Weaver scope that was from the 1930s or 1940s, whatever that thing was that was on here. It was bad. The glass was real bad, and any replacement that I bought was going to be real bad. If you move to a 1-inch rings on the thing, you got a lot more options. You can put pretty much anything you want. Now, this is not an expensive scope by any means, but it is far better than what was on this thing. But this rifle, I've showed this rifle before. It's just a regular box mag that mounts on the bottom of this thing. I believe this thing holds 5 rounds or something like that. It goes in the bottom of this, and it's just a bolt action rifle. Works like every other bolt action rifle, you know. Bolt opens up, loads in, and you take one shot at a time. More of a precise shooting rifle, but it's got an excellent trigger on it. It's a very heavy barrel on this thing. This rifle's pretty heavy for being a 22, so the little bit of recoil that you did have, which is none, you actually have 0 with this. And when you couple that with a really good scope on it, and I'm going to call this a really good scope for a 22, I mean, you're pretty much looking at a tech driver here. But it's exactly what I wanted, and I just needed the time to sit at my house, figure out the correct way to mount it. And if you look, it does mount to the side of the action. It's a side mount scope mount with 1-inch scope ring. So you can mount a modern 1-inch scope on a antique old style Savage rifle. But anyway, folks, I don't know if there's a lot of people out there that look to do this. If you look at real close, you can see this. I don't know if it has the part number right here on it or not, but it says 1-inch USA, and it is a Weaver mount. So I just want to show this rifle and show you what I did to it. Made it a little bit more modern rifle out of an old girl here that I really like. I've showed this rifle before it had this 1-inch scope on it, and I went a little bit more in depth in it. So if you have any questions on it, you can refer to the video that I already have on this rifle. Just want to show how I mounted the scope on it. Thank you very much for watching my little short video today, folks. You folks have a great day.